Let me hop on, make sure that I can hear myself talking before we get started. Maybe. Okay, let's see. Maybe. All right, because there's nothing like, as I know from doing this before, there's nothing like being live and talking and no one can hear you. Or recording an entire video series or an entire training call that's like an hour long and you realize that you didn't do the audio for it. So you have to record it again. That's always fun. But you guys, welcome. So if you are just new joining us, I invite you to just take a moment, deep breath in, because I feel like everyone's really stressed out right now. I don't know if it's the after Christmas, like at least for where I am, we're now in like the depths of despair of coldness. And I have to really remind myself, like, hey, this is very temporary as I keep looking outside because I can see the clouds are coming down on the bench of the mount. Like I'm right on the bench. So the clouds are coming down on the mountain and we're supposed to be under a winter storm warning or watch, or I don't pay attention to those exactly, but I know that it's coming. So I tell myself it will only be this cold as it's supposed to be like negative 14 in a week, that it will only be this cold, very temporary. So, right, we can align ourselves to make it through things. But, anyways, take a second, please just deep breath in. Like sometimes it feels really good just to put your hand right over your heart center and just literally tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. You're here, you're making progress, you're learning, you're growing, right? That's what it is all about, finding your purpose and finding your passion. And that's why I'm here. So, we're going to talk about changing your beliefs and how this has such a massive impact on your health. My name is Amy. If you are just new to my channel, I thrive in this space of learning. I have a master's degree in education and a second one in food safety. I just love absorbing and I love learning. And so I love being able to teach you everything that I learn. And so tonight we're talking about our a cognitive mind and our subconscious mind and how our beliefs really affect our health. It's such a significant thing. If I mean, maybe I'm pleading and begging a little bit, but I so appreciate you sharing this. And it's not so that I can, go viral on social media platform. It's because really, if we could get everyone on the same page of understanding how much control you really have over your health, we can make like an absolute amazing difference. Like sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know what I can do. There's so much we can do and it's so free. Like we don't even have to spend money to help people understand themselves. So please, if you would, I would love that so that we can help as many people as possible. So let's dive into our slideshow here. And also you can see over on this in the comment section, I have my email list. So you can hop onto that. So starting on Sunday, I am going to be sending you a weekly email. Now, I don't like icky or yuckish marketing. Okay. I just don't. And I know that I'm one of the few people that will probably say that, but my purpose here is serving. It's not becoming a millionaire off of helping you. So my email list isn't going to be, or my email isn't going to be like jam packed with like the next best workshop you can join, in my funnel. And I'm going to try to sell you 7,000 things. Okay. Yes, I do sell things. I do, have to put food on the table as well, but those things are not being shoved down your throat. So if you subscribe to the Blocked Emotions email, is what you're going to get is starting on Sunday. I'm going to send you an email for the week, and it's going to be very specific based off of human design and the energies that are going on in the moment. Like if you're into horoscopes and all that stuff, it should be in the comments underneath the video. Maybe the video has to be posted first. But here I will it's because it's under the edit title. Here is what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this really quick. Do 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 do. Hopefully this isn't like messing everything up. Okay, there we go. Let's try this. Ta-da! I think it's all right there. There you go. Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. So you can hop onto the email list and then you tell me if you can see the one that I just posted because it should go. Sometimes this is the downfall of posting to multiple channels. Anyways, if it's not showing up, I'll come back after the video post and I'll make sure that you can see it. Okay. But so we're gonna send you, me and my tribe of mice, we're gonna send you an email on Sundays, and it's going to be very specific to the planetary energies. So this is a way above and beyond just like a horoscope. Okay, guys, this is very specific. And I hear you, but you see nothing. I'm not sure what you mean. Like you hear me, but hello, you can't see my screen share, or I'm not sure what you mean. You can't see what I posted. I will come back and post the comment. So it's going to be based off of the planetary energies. The way that this works is your human design is very, very specific down to the integral details. I like to tell people that you can think of it as like a soup, or I don't know why you can't see me. I'm currently sharing my slides and also I can see my video. So I'm not really sure what's going on. And I also am not sure which platform you're on. But if you will tell me, I will definitely look into that afterwards. So think of like a soup, right? When you go to make a soup, if you just throw milk into a pot and some potatoes, that's a lot different than if you have a soup that is got milk and it also has heavy whipping cream and it also has chicken broth and then it also has multiple vegetables and it has multiple proteins in it or whatever, it's got like chicken or whatever you want to have in your soup. And then it's even got lots of, herbs and spices integrated into it. So it's so much more than, right, like that cream and or the milk that we started with. So or you can look at it whatever kind of resonates with you. Or I always tell people too, your human design is kind of like a set of house plans. So sure, you can get a set of house plans and it has the the outside, so you can see the design of the house, just the sketch though. But then when you start like really getting into the plans, you can see like what kind of bricks on the outside or what's the siding. And then if you get even more into the plans down to the details, you can see where the light switches are and you can see, the different aspects of like the little tiny minute things that just complete this entire house. And so that's why I love human design, because I feel like a horoscope is super like the broad, you know, that just sketch of what the outside of the house looks like. Okay, we all don't fall into just like the horoscope signs. Like we're much more individualized than that. And it's why I love human design. So whether you are really into that stuff or not, this email will still resonate with you, because is what it is it's the specific energies that are available during the week. I'm going to say that again. The specific energies that are available during that week based off of where everything is sitting, that we as a collective conscious have access to. So you can either fight your way through them, which is what most of us do, right? We're like a bunch of salmon, like trying to swim up the stream, or you can align yourself with it. I see lots of times when people are posting like, oh my gosh, the moon's out of whack and Mercury's in retrograde, and you're all like a hot mess. And realistically, that energy is available for you if you know how to use it right. And if you know how to align yourself to it, it's a positive, not a negative. And so that's what this email will be that I'll send out every Sunday morning. It's going to have lots of yummy, delicious stuff in it like that. And so you can subscribe over there. I posted it. I guess one of my Facebook pages must not be working right. So I can see that I'm streaming to my personal page, Blocked Emotions, and also to the group. So can you tell me, if you would, which one you're on that you can't see me, but you can hear me, which I think is really weird. Can anyone see me? I can see me. Anyways, we'll get this figured out. Sometimes this is just the world of technology. But let's dive into this stuff. Let's get into the yumminess of it. Okay. So we have to talk about what's going on in our heads to be able to understand how our beliefs are connected to our physical bodies and how they are connected to um, how our body's responding. Oh, yeah. I'm just checking something out. I was looking over here. Okay. So let's talk about this. You can say, right, cognitive words. I want to heal. You can say that all day. This is why like repetitive affirmations don't really work very well because you're just in your like cognitive space and you're like, I want to heal. I want to heal. I want to heal. The problem is your cognitive mind can only hold about 7 bits of information at a time, which is not very much. So I can say, I want to heal. I want to heal. I want to heal. Suddenly my dog starts barking. And where does my cognitive mind go? It goes to my dog barking, right? So I get really distracted really easily and my mind goes off into some other place. And so your cognitive mind's just that's not what it's designed to do. So it is designed to judge the immediate environment that you're in. Okay. So it has a very, very small, narrow ability to focus on stuff. That's why, we're always like running around being like, I don't know. I'm like feeling kind of disconnect. Like you have to be so focused on what you're specifically is going on for your cognitive mind to sort of process that. Um, and it makes it incredibly difficult. Whereas your subconscious mind is designed to be this consistent rolling, somewhat like a video camera, right? It's taking in things that you're not even looking at. Like it's taking in everything. So if there's a conversation going on over here, my subconscious is well aware of what's going on over there, even if I'm not cognitively hearing it. Okay. So your subconscious mind literally is you can think of it, if you want to think of it in percentages, literally is running 95% of the show. Your cognitive mind is only like 5% involved. But we live from our cognitive mind, right? And that's why we're so miserable. Is because not only are we living from our cognitive mind, which literally is only making these logical decisions based off of true or false, comparing it to something that's happened to you before. It's not really doing a great job. I was working with a client the other day on a business thing, and they were telling me that, oh, every business I've ever tried before has failed, but I just have that like internal entrepreneurial spirit. And it just, I have to be running a business of some kind or doing something like that. And I said, okay. And we were going over some of the negative core beliefs, right? And it's stuck in their head. Like, because my last business, or because they're perceiving their last business as a failure, they're attaching it to the business now. And I said, well, what if we not only subconsciously release that for you, but what if I help you cognitively align as well? And now you're going to kind of see these two and you're going to have an aha moment. And I said, I want you to cognitively align with this as well as we release this negative core belief that my past businesses are a failure. So I'm feeling it, my business is that I need you to look at your things that you got from your past business are what are making your current business successful. And it was almost just like a boom moment for them, right? Because you didn't know what you didn't know. And now you have all this beautiful information from what you did in your previous business that you're using in your business now. And it's just like this delicious amount of beautiful information that you can gather from. But sometimes we get really caught up and we don't think about the simple things. Like if I point out, like, hey, previously, did you know anything about setting up an LLC? Well, no. Okay. So, like, look how much further ahead you are now than you were before, right? You know the things that you did before that didn't work. So, let's make things work for you this time. And so, it's just like readjusting and getting your cognitive and your subconscious mind. So, if you say, I want to heal, but do you really? Because you say that cognitively, but what does your subconscious mind think you might lose if you heal? And we're going to look at some of these in a second. I want to heal. But does your subconscious truly believe that you can? So the problem is that we've been feeding our subconscious mind through what we see cognitively for so long. Like think about how old you are. And before the age of 7, everything that you're being taught and told is basically considered tribal knowledge to you, because people that are telling you as a child, you view these as authority figures. And so they just become truths. It doesn't matter. Like if you take a child, right, and you don't expose them to everything around here and you keep them in an isolated place and you tell them the color red is blue, the color red to them is blue. And so we're just so pliable. And we have all this conditioned layering that we just don't even know is there. Okay. So let's look at some of these. I got to figure out how to get that off there. So no, that is not what we wanted. Okay, so let's look at some of these negative energy examples. Okay, so this is a tiny itty bitty snippet from the ELV system that I teach, and these are things that I can teach you as well. You just don't believe, if I tell you that, I was thinking that earlier. It's like if I tell someone I can teach them how to do this, the first thing that comes to their mind is, I can't do that. Right? Right? What is negative core beliefs that you have, seeing that you can't learn how to do this yourself or teach other people how to do it. Okay. So actually, let me try this. Ooh, I like that better. Okay, cool beans. So negative core belief. And remember that all of these come from lots of different places. You can hear things, you can see things, you can read things, you experience events where these become beliefs for you, all kinds of ways that you can get these. Okay. So, negative core belief, it is too late. I caught this too late. So, that one, think about this. Let's say that you go in and you have a scan of some type, and then, they're like, oh, this is a progressive. We should have caught it earlier. Boom. My cognitive mind hears this, feeds it into my subconscious, and it becomes the truth for me. So, what do you think happens? You're now really swimming up a stream that has like a gigantic, you're go back to the salmon thing. You're the salmon and you're swimming up a stream with a giant dam in it, and you're like, oh, you know, my cognitive mind was told by a professional that we caught this too late. So, guess what? Your subconscious is like, hey, I like to align and I like to do what you say. So I hear that, and I'm going to make sure that you as a fish cannot jump that. You're not jumping the dam. Nope, I heard it. It's too late. I caught this too late. That's how they communicate with each other. Okay. So, especially things that come from people that we deem as professionals, because we've been taught that people with degrees, people with education, and I'm not saying this, doesn't have some truth to it, but it just becomes the truth for you. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just listen. All right, let's look at this next one. Negative energy from identifying with your illness or diagnosis. So this one is something that we don't realize that we do. But let's say that I have something going on. Let's say I'm attached to being a grieving mom, or I'm attached to being a grieving widow, and I start identifying with this, or I have a specific illness or a diagnosis. So what am I doing? I'm surrounding myself with all of these people that have the same issue that I do, because it makes me feel comfortable and I now am identifying with it. So what happens if I give that up? I don't know who I am anymore, because without it, who am I? So that can be a negative energy from identifying with it. Without it, you don't realize, but your subconscious doesn't want to let it go, because you won't know who you are anymore if you heal from it. There's a really good example of this when I was going through one of my studies of a lady who became ill. She got diagnosed with something, and when she did, her sister moved in. And so she had her spouse and her sister taking care of her full time. She started embracing energy work, and she started getting rid of some negative core beliefs, and she literally got better overnight. The next day, knowing that she's like suddenly, made this huge shift and turn, she's getting better. And the next day, she starts talking about, how she's ready to like pick up and get going again. And within like a week, her sister moves out and her husband starts spending less time caring for her. And guess what happened? Her symptoms came back, because she didn't want to give up that. It feels good to have people care for you. So she went back to the methodologist, the practitioner that she was working with and explained what had happened. And they sat down and realized that it was because she had identified and she was getting so much from it. She didn't want to let go of it. So to your cognitive mind, that seems so silly. Like, why would I hold on to a diagnosis or an illness if I'm going to be healthier? But there was that connection, which goes into this next one, kind of like an energy cord with people. You're getting something from it, but you cognitively aren't aware of that. So that's another reason why I love human design, is because there's so many things in it that show you what you're subconsciously not aware that you're doing. So some of it, when you read your like human design, if you get one of my human design ebooks and you're reading it about yourself, it's like reading a book about yourself. Some of it you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I know that I do that. You're very cognitively aware of it. And then there are other things within your human design that you're subconsciously doing that you're not aware of. And that's why it's like, boom, right? It brings so much amazing. I call it magic, but whatever you want to call it, brings so much amazingness to your life because you become aware of the things that you're doing that you don't know you're doing. Now, energy cord, person you have a sympathy connection with. This one too goes to like sometimes we get ourselves into really bad relationships because the other person's gone through the same thing that we have. So we just make that connection, even though they're maybe not the best for us to be with. So that's an energy cord. And then there are toxic phrases. We hear things. People say, just wait until you're my age. That imprints into your subconscious that something should happen to me when I'm about that age, because being that age must be negative. And so sure enough, when we get to about that age, we start developing symptoms, developing things that we're not even aware, because the subconscious is just trying to be so aligned with the cognitive mind. I know this stuff is like, right? You just like, I even have to sit back for a second and be like, wow. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I made a post the other day. I was getting my yearly exam done, getting my yearly mammogram done. And I had to go back again because they were like, oh, you have something. We saw something. And I was like, okay. So I really went into working on myself and getting into the now space, because I know that if someone tells me that I maybe have something going on, the worst thing that I can do for myself is to start fretting about it, because I literally can make my cells align. 100% scientifically proven. I can literally make my cells align to make happen what I'm freaking out over. 100%. And I will die on that hill that that really is how it works. So I knew the last thing that I wanted to do was align with this. So I went back the next day for another scan. When I went in to get the scan, she showed me the picture of my last year's mammogram and my this year's mammogram. Literally on a piece of paper is like, this is what it looks like. This is what the C word looks like. This is where the spot is. And it looked just like it. And I was like, not, that's cool. I'm like, not, this isn't happening to me. I'm not, nope, it's not what I have. Cool, whatever. So I still went into that now space of like, I am healthy. I am healthy today. I'm healthy. This is part of my body doing something that it needs to do. And you can also go look it up that the C word is a part of your body healing itself. Okay. So I go and have to have now, I'm at the, thank goodness they do all this so you don't like get sent away, because, I still am a human and that is difficult to get yourself to align with not fretting. It takes a lot of cognitive and subconscious work to do this. So then after that, they're like, well, hey, you're here. We're going to do an ultrasound. But she didn't tell me that. Like the lady doing my initial mammogram was like, I'll either come out and get you and tell you that you're fine and you can go, or I'm going to have a tech come and get you. You're going to go do an ultrasound if the doctor feels like that's what you need, right? Like there's a doctor in the background somewhere, like reading all my results as I'm doing this. So the tech comes out and I go back for an ultrasound. Once again, I'm laying on the bed also, right? And like not the bestest position. And I'm having this ultrasound done. And I really had to work on myself then, because the last time I was laying in that position getting an ultrasound is when I got told that my daughter was missing part of her heart. Not a good spot to be in. So I'm like going into the now space. Amy, we're not freaking out. Center, aligning, taking deep breaths. This is amazing. I'm so thankful. I'm going to repeat that. I'm so thankful for this ultrasound, because it's going to show that I do not have anything wrong, and they're going to tell me what they're seeing, and there's going to be a beautiful reason for it. And my body is just healing from something, right? So I lay there for like 25 minutes, putting myself in this now space, which is a really cool thing that you can do. It's literally like disconnecting yourself from your physical body and literally looking at yourself from a corner in the room. It's a really cool subconscious thing that you can do. It's amazing. Okay, so she gets done. She's like, hey, wait here. So I get dressed. I'm sitting in the chair waiting once again back into the space. There's some other girl in the room that's like typing away, doing some kind of scheduling thing. And I'm like, trying to line myself, breathing in. Doctor comes in with the ultrasound tech. And I'm like, well, this is great. And so I'm still like maintaining this positive field. And guess what? Guess what he said? It looks just like that, but that's not what it is. I'll see you in a year. I hope you have a great day. And I was like, yes, indeed, right? Because this what had happened is he suspects that I had some kind of a cyst or something deep inside my tissues that burst open and healed. And so when it did, it left scar tissue. Boom, bada bing, right? And so let's just say that I had freaked out about this for that entire time. What a waste of energy, right? What a waste of energy. So that's why this stuff is so amazing, is because you literally can grasp things and get out of your cognitive mind. Okay. Moving right along. These are the different results that happen when we do cognitive approaches versus subconscious approaches. So, cognitive approaches. Repeating affirmations over and over again. I told you why that doesn't work, right? Because you're doing it, then the dog barks and your cognitive mind leaves the space. It takes a lot for your cognitive mind to get into the subconscious, and just repeating affirmations doesn't really work so well. Okay. Therapy. There is a time and a place for it, but ultimately, a couple of things that I see with my clients that are negative when it comes to doing therapy is that one, the person that you're working with is going to be very biased. And two, so I saw this on a post too the other day. Someone was like, why do I have to feel my emotions to release them? Well, you actually don't. But now also, because that person's been told that, what do you think now they have? A negative core belief. I have to feel all my emotions to release them. No, you don't. Your subconscious doesn't need you to feel anything. It does it all the time. It's reliving everything. Every time you have a memory, it's putting you right back into that space. It's not working, right? How many times have you gone back into that place and you're like filled with the same emotions as when the event happened? You're just replaying. You're like making it deeper. So, talking about it over and over again doesn't really get it to release. I'm not saying that if you don't do these things enough, that time also tends to make things happen for you, but not so much. And then, of course, we have medication. Once again, I'm an advocate for that and a time and a place when it is needed. However, the problem with medication is you get into a cycle that is money fed and you start chasing symptoms. So now I'm taking a medication because I have anxiety, but now it's causing me to have problems sleeping. So I have to also supplement with a sleeping medication. The sleeping medication is making it so I'm having problems with my digestive system now. So now I'm taking anxiety medication, sleeping medication, and now I need a medication to help me because I'm having problems digesting. Well, the digestive thing is making my skin break out, and you see the cycle. And so you get yourself into this horrible spot. I had this beautiful neighbor, such a pretty woman. I just remember growing up thinking she was just so pretty. She reminded me of a Barbie. Anyways, I remember in my adult life, I went into a doctor's office and there was a lady in a wheelchair and she was very, very, very thin. Just looked just like she was so close to passing, right? And after my mom was actually there too, and after my mom told me like who she was, and it was my neighbor lady, and she really probably looked like she was in her like late, I don't know, like a sick person that was at least 75, 80 years old. Okay. Just that, that very sunken look, very malnutrition. And I was like, she's like 45. And my mom's like, oh, that's the neighbor from when you grew up. And I was so beside myself. Well, anyways, they literally had her, destined to be on her deathbed. And someone smart got in the mix and was like, we're going to take you off all your medication and start fresh. And guess what happened? Some combination of everything that she was taking was literally killing her. So just, caution to the wind. So subconscious approaches. So we see this with placebo effects, right? You think you're healing, so you are, even if someone gives you a sugar pill. That's just how your subconscious works. Releasing beliefs and understanding who you are. This, my friends, is the beautiful part of doing subconscious work, but these approaches work. They're not temporary effects like when we just work on the cognitive mind, because you're getting to the root. It's like, you know, I have this tree outside and I really hate it and it's blocking the view and it's growing mold and I don't even know. I don't hate trees, so that's kind of a hard thing for me to say. But anyways, let's say you need to get rid of the tree. Like you can't just cut the branches off, right? You know that and you're like, "Well, silly. We all know. Maybe it's a weed. Let's turn it to a weed. I don't like to cut down trees." There's a gigantic obnoxious weed and it has burrs on it and my dog keeps jumping in it and then she's coming in with them. I know that I can't just clip off the branches of the weed, right? I have to get the root out or it will keep coming back. So on the cognitive approach side, that's just like cutting off the branches of the weed. On the subconscious approach side, that's like we're digging down and we're actually removing it from the soil. All right, let's look at this. Action steps. Because you know that I love you and I always like to give you action steps that you can use today because I understand that actions are, let me say this. Manifestation is really great and you can do so many things with the laws of universal energy, but if you couple them with actions, it's like giving them a boost, right? So let's talk about 3 action steps that you can take today to make a difference in how your beliefs are affecting your health. So 1, I want you to be really aware of inner conversations with yourself. Cells are listening. You stand in front of the mirror and you say, I look XYZ, which I'm not even going to say the words because I don't like to talk so negatively and I don't even want to say them. But you look in the mirror. I do this. Let me rephrase that. I used to do this. I was really bad at it. I have before actually done this so I can prove it to myself. I will make a video, watch the video, and absolutely tear myself apart, and then stop myself and be like, I want you to watch the video again. And this time I want you to watch it. And I want you to love yourself. And I want you to be so grateful that you have this amazing energy and this message to share. And this time when you watch it, I want you to watch it with love and gratitude. I can watch the same video 5 minutes later and absolutely love it. That's how your mind works. Okay. So 1 minute, you may be in the space of hating yourself. Now, this is a habit. So you got to work at it. And eventually you'll see that you'll stop talking negatively to yourself when you start catching that you're doing it, right? It's like catching someone, just like when you're trying to teach someone to chew with their mouth closed, right? At first, it's not going to just happen. But the more that you do that habit and chew with your mouth closed, you'll eventually just start chewing with your mouth closed without having to think about it. So these conversations become very automated. What beliefs do you know you have? Get a piece of paper and a pen and write them down so that you can see them, because awareness brings some connection to your subconscious, allows you to know, like, ask yourself, is this belief even mine? Like, where is this coming from? Do I really? So do those 3 things. Say, what belief do I have? Where did I get this belief? Is it even my belief? And do I really believe that? Because you're really going to realize that you probably don't. You're carrying this around and you really don't believe it. Okay. This is my favorite. Choice trumps beliefs. You can make a choice. Seeing gratitude and being at cause for what is happening to you. So that comes to this space where we just like to sit back and be like, everything bad is always happening. Well, what if you just say everything is always happening for me? See how that's really, wow, like that's a big shift. Everything is happening to me or everything is happening for me. Changing your words, just being a cause for everything. Even if it's something that you think is super negative, still be a cause for it because it puts you back into the power seat. Maybe I got a flat tire today because this needed to happen. I got a flat tire. This happened for me. There's a reason beyond my view of why I got a flat tire today. See how that works? Be a cause for everything that's going on for you. All right. Take a look at this. I want to show you. So I'm not going to do an elf session tonight, but I want to show you something that as the more sessions that I do with people, the more things that I find. And so this was something that came up the other day and I was like, it was an aha moment for me. Okay. So ELV is a system that I use. That's a methodology that I've used that incorporates a bunch of different methodologies that I've studied that I've become a practitioner in, and also couples into human design. And it allows us to release things from your energy part of your body, from your subconscious. When we get those little chemicals out, the negative core beliefs, the blocked emotions, the toxins that are from traumas, all that stuff, it allows your body's energy pass, your meridians, your chakras, all to flow beautifully. And when that happens, your body can really start to heal. And then it gives you this beautiful balance. And if you're like, whatever, I used to be that. I used to be on that train too until I started doing it. And then I was like, I don't really care if my cognitive mind needs to know that this really works. I'm on board because I've seen it, right? And I see it for my amazing clients as well. But let's look at this, okay? All right. So this was a negative core belief that I found when I was working with a client the other day. I got this from my mom. So this is a negative energy. This is a negative thought pattern. I got this from my mom, and my client was having a hard time releasing this. And so when I looked at like, why are you subconsciously holding on to this? I saw two things, okay, that can happen when we hold on to things from our parents. So this was like an aha for me as well, okay? I got this from my mom. If you have a positive relationship, you're holding on to it out of love. I love my mom, and so I don't wanna give away something that is part of her. Even if that part of her isn't serving you, it doesn't matter because you are holding on to it out of love, okay? So if this is a negative attribute, you're holding on to it out of love, unknowingly keeping it, like maybe it is something that you were told is genetic and now you're holding on to it. Okay, but what if you have a negative relationship with your mom? Because when I first saw this one, I was like, well, that makes sense. But I was like, well, what if you have a negative relationship with your mom? Why would you be holding on to it? And this is what I saw. If you have a negative relationship, you're holding on to it out of hate. She did this to me. So it's like resentment. My mom was so mean to me, so you're keeping it because this is just how your mom treats you. So let's go back and look at this. Let's say that you do have an illness. Let's just say that you've been diagnosed with something and it is something that your mom had, okay? So I got this from my mom is making you hang on to it. It's an anchor. If you had a positive relationship with your mom, you're holding on to it out of love. I don't want to let that go. Maybe your mom's passed on too, right? I don't want to let that go because it's a connection, an energy cord with my mom. If you have that negative relationship with your mom, you're holding on to it because she always does things like this to you. And you know, she just did this to you out of spite. So you're not letting it go out of resentment. See how that works? You guys, I'm telling you, like this stuff is absolutely fantastic. It's just not something you get when you just do traditional things. Okay. So that's what I have for you tonight. I am going to tell you a couple of things. One, let me make this bigger, even though, there we go. Nope, that is not what I wanted to do. Oh, there we go. I'm like, where am I? Oh, it's because I'm sharing my screen still. Okay, so here's the amazing that I want to share with you. So remember that I talked about the email. So the email is going to go out on Sunday mornings. It's going to be specific to you being able to clear things that are going to block or stop the beautiful energy from that week based off of our planetary system that you can take in. So I'm going to get you past the like, the moon is full and my life is crap, or, you know, Mercury retrograde. I don't know why I'm struggling with that word, is ruining my life. Like, I'm going to show you how you can get away with that. Also, if you are not part of Blocked Emotions, the Facebook page, and you're on one of my other platforms, I'm also going to get back into posting the daily journal thoughts because I was doing this for a long time and they were really good and I missed them. So we're going to do that as well. And then a couple of other things. I really, really love teaching. And so I am going to be launching a beta course for practitioners. So I have kind of two groups of practitioners, right? I have the practitioner group that does my ELV method. So they've subscribed. They've taken my course and they are ELV practitioners. So, but I do a separate training for them once a month, that's specific high level energy type stuff. But I want to do a beta course on how to run your energy business, because I feel like when I became a practitioner, nobody showed me like that part of it. Like I learned a method of how to release things, but I had no idea like how do I create this into a business if that's what I want to do to purposefully serve. So I'm going to do a beta course on how to do that and teach you everything, like from the like how to do the email list to how to stream if you want to making videos on your phone, like all of that, because I've learned so much and I don't want you to have to spend the amount of money that I've spent taking 3,000 courses learning how to do all of it. Okay. Now, and then the other thing I want to tell you about is I'm excited because I'm part of a summit. So you'll see me posting about that as well. It's going to be January 24th through the 27th. And so watch for that as well. I'll be doing an interview and we'll be posting that and giving away some freebies. It gets to this point where I'm like, okay, my energy is done. It gets really hot in this room because I have to shut the door so my dog doesn't come in here and like climb up on me. And then I start toasting. So I'm going to go and have dinner with my family. I hope you guys are doing something spectacular as well. And I just want to send you out lots of positive energy. Thanks for hopping on, and I will see you